Good morning, and thank you for coming back for coffee for this this session. Oxford debate, I don't need to explain it because we've had already two. By ways of introduction, our two contestants who actually haven't seen, there's a surprise for you on the screen. Can we see it? It's coming? It's coming. Surprise for you on the screen. No, not that one. No, not that one.
I thought there were these nice virtual reality.
Yes.
Kind of
Anyway,
yes.
so to quickly introduce myself, I used to, when I was in Pharma, I always present myself as a recovering physician. Now I would say I'm a recovered Pharma exec, so I do only board work for hospital and charities. It's great, right? You like it? And I have with you two contestants, and they're not just contestants for the debate, they're contestants for the topic, because they both are candidates to become CEO in the long run. And so they're the best people that we could find for this debate as we continue into irrelevant topics. So I'm going to ask both of them to do an opening statement in alphabetical order, quite strictly, sticking to the time. Then think about a question, a challenge. We have a bit of time to challenge them. Then the closing debate, and then the vote. But we start with the vote. So if we can have the Slido up, please. We'd like to know whether you think that the future CEOs are born in either medical or commercial. And so far we have great unanimity of 100% commercial. You want to go and have a coffee?
Here we go.
Okay, there we go.
The medical affairs colleagues are entering the room, yes.
Yeah, they're late as usual.
Oh, the debate hasn't started yet. See, that's why we sit in the middle as a moderator. All right. So it looks like it's a 50-50. That's great, because actually there's more marketing people or commercial people background than medical in the meeting. So that means that some of the marketeers actually voted for medical, which is very interesting. Okay, let's start. But we'll give the loser the first word. Sorry. Alain.
He's still the winner.
Go.
Still the winner, 55.
It's not your time, it's his time.
How to say? In this case, I feel like a football player before a penalty kick. Everybody is expecting you to succeed. And if you fail, you are an idiot, and the goalkeeper is a hero. Then my job is to convince you that Joris today is not a hero. For me, it cannot be a medical raised star as the future CEO for three reasons. The scale, there are so many people from commercial and marketing versus people from medical. The pace, medical are not used to work in high-speed decision-making process.
Control yourself.
And the approach, but I will tell you this later on.
Wait, you have 1.5 minutes left for your opening statement. You're not using it fine, but you have 1.5 minutes.
I can spend more time. I can spend more time.
I was preparing several arguments to convince you, but I think after yesterday afternoon, it was very clear.
Okay, so you're ceding your time. Fine. No rebuttal, but your opening statement, please. Joris.
So, my opening statement is very clear and very to the point, and it's actually referring to a session yesterday. And the session referred to the fact that medical would become dominant within pharma, and that's reality. And when medical takes over, it's obvious that the CEO will come from medical as well. I will also refer to AI, because everybody talks about AI, and I'd like to, think of medical affairs as the AI of pharmaceutical functions. So yes, we are taking over, and there are two exceptions, and the fact is that we are human, and we tell the truth. If we look at the healthcare environment, it's rapidly changing, and I have to tell you, the focus, the drivers for growth are the change in the fact that data becomes more complex. And secondly, science becomes more complex. And thirdly, generations are changing. This leads into a completely different way that we should look at healthcare. Healthcare professionals should change, pharma should change. The focus will be on human-centric healthcare. Human-centric healthcare. And secondly, on value-based medicine. And this requires expertise from medical affairs, and this also requires us to collaborate with all external stakeholders. And the reason why is they trust us. opti-channel, omni-channel, whatever channel. I like the opening statement from Dario on the first day, and he said, forget about all these channels, it's about the customer. They want to talk to us. Those are external drivers. Internally, what do we see? The transformation of medical affairs. We're growing, we're learning, we become leaders. I'm here right now, for example. Secondly, the vision and missions of pharma companies all refer to people or patients. And thirdly, most importantly, corporate value, essential for a CEO. Traditionally, it was about growth only, resilience a little bit during the pandemic. But the third key element of corporate value is society. We need to play an important role in society. And who's going to do that?
20 seconds, go on.
Medical affairs. So thank you very much for the time. And
All
the
right.
extra time. Yes,
All right,
thank you.
Okay, good. All right, so now the time is to challenge it a little bit. So I'll start by challenging Joris as the last speaker. And I would say you talk about the customer, but actually medical affairs has a history of not even understanding the concept of a customer, whether that customer is internal, be it marketing or your sales colleagues, or whether that customer is external. So convince me that medical affairs even understands what a customer is. When the marketeer is with a commercial, they start by learning about the customer.
Loaded, don't look back at the past and look into the future. I mean, if you look at, 20 years ago, you're right, we had huge sales forces, we were visiting doctors, and MSLs are taking over, and for a good reason. First of all, the customer wants to talk to us, and with customers, we really understand. We even know better who the customers are than you, because we talk to governments, civil society, patient advocacy groups, we talk to payers, we talk to academia. So I think we have a very good idea of what the true customer is. And it's not necessarily the prescriber or the decision maker. It's the broader community referring to the value of an organization.
Okay, I understand you've been to a lot of conferences and picked up the word customer. That's good. So challenging you talked about there's simply scale argument. There's just more marketeers. I would say that's because they're so inefficient, you need more of them. So build on that argument and tell us why the number of marketeers is any argument for the CEO coming from that function.
I think it's simple statistic. Basically, you will have the best one among 1,000, which will be much better than the best one among 10. I think that Joris just raised the point, and thank you for the argument, because you are talking about the future, but basically you are referring to the past. 5 years ago, we heard several multinational companies saying, we stop medical reps and we go full MSL. What are they doing now? Go back to the medical reps. This model of full medical doesn't work. Then, as a consequence, if this model based on medical doesn't work, you can't run a company only based on the medical purpose. Then for sure, commercial is the basis of the company. We need some supporting department, like medical, but commercial is the pillar of the company.
Okay, well, thank you for not answering the question, which is a very important quality for a CEO, in any case. So we're fine with that. Now it's the time for you to challenge each other, and then I'm going to ask the audience, right? But first you challenge each other a little bit on what's said before. I'll go for yours first, and then Alla. So you have more time to think because you're from marketing.
You changed it around, Loder. That's very smart. So now I should start. I understand that. So very, very much like the fact that you talk about statistics. I thought that was, our objective. But it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality, of course. And I think that's essential. And also stick to your facts, because it's pretty clear that the number of MSLs is growing rapidly, while the commercial organization is rapidly declining. And yes, I understand that you'd like to ignore that because you get nervous. I mean, we see that in all organizations.
I'm shaking.
It's not an easy
shaking.
conversation.
Yeah, he's shaking.
It's not an easy conversation.
Okay, he can answer.
Yeah.
Just don't simply take the easy way and tell him he was not in a session where they showed the data about the MSLs. But
No, it's a pity that we don't have slides, because he would show us blue slides written in yellow, but this is another story. I think that the size and, let's say, the scale is one topic. The other topic for me is the pace. I think that when you are among medical affairs, you are used to working for mid and long-term project, mid and long-term perspective. We talk about pipeline decision, clinical trials, and probably the framework and the time framework for you and your colleagues is 2 to 3 years. When you are in the commercial side, you have to make decisions every day. a CEO average makes 50 decisions a day. Then honestly, I'm not sure that someone who is used to take one decision every 2 or 3 years is able to manage 50 decisions a day.
This is am I allowed to respond?
Very briefly, and then
Okay.
I go to the audience.
Interestingly enough, it's actually the opposite. Yes, he makes 50 decisions a day. Do I need to go to the toilet or should I stand up? But he is looking at the long-term strategy. He is the one who needs to take a step back and start to think. So what are the opportunities for growth in my organization? How can I make sure that we build a resilient organization? The commercial team goes too fast. I mean, we've heard it before. Too many things happening all at the same time. And in the end, no country is interested with the global...
Good answer. Okay,
Thank you.
audience.
You like it?
First challenge to the marketeer. Challenge to the marketeer. I see 2 ones up. I hope we have time. So make your question to the point, and then he can answer. Here, yes, sir.
Karen.
Yes, you.
The mic.
We need a microphone here.
Gentleman at the back there.
No, here in
I've got
front.
mic.
Second row.
I've got the power.
Second
I'm
row.
going to use the power.
Because I know he's from medical.
I'm
he
fr-
gets
I'm
the
fr-
challenge.
I'm from commercial, so I'm going to use the power. Medics don't own revenue, correct?
Wait, who you're challenging, him or him?
Joris.
Well,
Joris.
the call was for that.
Okay.
So is marketing quality, yes?
Medics don't own revenue, correct?
So no, we're not
Yeah.
involved in revenues. And the
But,
interesting...
but CEOs do. So how comfortable do you find that transition?
Good one.
Actually, that's
Meanwhile,
actually,
pass the microphone.
That's a great question. I really like it because looking into the future, it's pretty clear when we talk about value-based medicine, if you offer the appropriate medicine, you will get the right patients, and that will automatically lead to the revenues. We should step away from splitting that up, like, okay, you are looking at the costs and you are looking at the patient numbers. A good CEO, and I used to work for Pfizer, there was always only a focus on patient impact, and secondly, revenues. And I think also when we look at it from a society perspective, it's kind of very strange that we are involved in the healthcare industry.
Wait,
and
so
that pharma is talking
can
about
medical, as a CEO,
money.
own the revenues, yes or no? Just give the man a clear answer.
So the answer is that within medical
yes, is
affairs...
medical, maybe.
No. It's not maybe, it's a very clear answer.
Okay, good. What's the answer?
The answer is that the CEO, when he's at that position, is not necessarily in medical anymore. He's above, the department. So at that moment in time, with his knowledge and experience, yes, he's responsible for the revenues, for growth.
Good, thank you.
Yes,
Question.
hi.
Challenge to marketing.
Yeah, sorry, this debate is very painful. I'm being completely honest here because I'm not sure how we are comparing functions to roles. When you're in commercial, you have certain objectives. When you are a CEO, if you're actually going to be looking into the numbers and field visits, then you suck as a CEO because you should have more of a leadership position, you should have more of a vision, you should have more of a team building capability to empower your team to do their job. So if you're going to look into the nitty-gritty details, that's going to be a disaster. So I think the CEO is more about mindset versus tactics. If there's somebody from medical who has the right mindset, the right leadership, the right charisma, the right whatever, he could be a CEO. I mean, at Novartis, our CEO came from development, and I don't think he's doing a bad job. We can look at the numbers.
Talking about Vas,
He's doing
right?
an amazing job.
You're talking about Vas.
Agree.
Yeah.
Okay, but what's the challenge to him?
So the challenge to him is not about the tactics. It's not because of short-term and long-term. And by the way, for all the commercial colleagues, you're doing a good job because medical is generating the data for you. Without the data, you come to us whining and crying and say, oh, we don't have the data, okay? So medical is making you powerful by generating the data for access, for commercial success. All you do is just go to the doctor, have a nice coffee, smile, invite him on a plane, and then get the prescription.
Point taken.
Thank you.
Okay, we got the audience involved. Okay, you have a right to answer.
Do we need to answer?
It's up to you, but a CEO who doesn't answer usually has a short life.
No, it's a statement, not a question, but probably what you are saying is correct, that data are one of the engine of the company. But the reality is that our company is building people to generate data and people to generate revenue based on the data. And this is today the answer that if medical were able to generate revenue, probably they would not need commercial team. And in reality, we are more in commercial than medical because medical are very good to generate data, but they don't know how to use it to make a revenue.
Okay, we have time for one last challenge of the audience. You'll take it.
No,
Okay.
unlimited budget, and we have to be careful.
Is that the challenge? No. Give him the microphone. Yeah, please. Peter, run.
So it's a challenge for both.
Good. I love it.
Merger and acquisitions are one integral part of pharma.
Of CEO.
How would medical affairs or going through the medical affairs track compare going through a commercial marketing approach?
Well, you said medical first, so he goes first, you go second.
So the way that many people look at medical is the traditional enabler. Commercial wants this and we do that, the data stuff. But we are transitioning already for a while and we haven't stopped yet. So I work for the Medical Affairs Professional Society as well, and lots of our efforts focus on capability development. So this also includes business knowledge, strategic leadership. So our role is changing, and we are already involved in mergers and acquisitions. Because when you look at the portfolio, you do not necessarily look at the revenues, you need to look at the value, the unmet needs that exist, and also the scientific R&D related opportunities within such a company or specific asset. So for me, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you. How do you answer his challenge?
The M&A topic is probably broader than commercial and medical. It's finance-driven, especially nowadays. My vision on this is clear. If you look today to the hedge fund and all those people who are stepping into this market, who will they recruit from pharma companies? Former CEOs or former commercial leaders to generate M&A? Then probably we are closer to the business than to medical when we talk about M&A.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. So with all of that taken time, and thank you for the great audience participation. It's actually wonderful. Now both get their closing statement to convince you, and then we go to the vote. So we take the reverse order from the beginning. So we first start with medical affairs. Joris, you have 2 minutes.
So medical affairs, we will provide the CEO in the future, because the future means change. Both the external world is changing, the focus will be on patients, it will be on value, so it's data-driven, it's based on customer engagement. Medical affairs is leading that, will drive that. Internally, we already do see that missions and visions of pharma companies focus on patients. We do see that every company is building and expanding their medical affairs organizations. Medical affairs is transforming. And the last thing I want to mention about corporate value, which is the essential topic for a CEO, goes beyond revenues and focuses more and more on society. This is also related to new generations that come up, and they care about society, climate. Those are the big topics that we need to deal with as a pharma company. And that's why medical affairs is at the right moment in time, in the future, there to provide the next CEO. Thank you very much.
Wow, did it in 1 minute. Thank you very much. Yours?
I think that we had this industry discussion, and clearly my point of view reflects the majority of people in the room, which means that today commercial and marketing are at the center of the company, are the center of the business of any pharma company. I try to imagine and figure out. Let's figure out together, because honestly I'm struggling to have this in mind, but let's do it together. Let's imagine that we are a pharma company and our CEO is Joris here.
He can already, see the vision.
Yeah, I can
now,
see the vision.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's a nightmare, but it's okay. Then we step there and we have a very important meeting on this CRM topic. Then this Viva Salesforce, then we have to select and choose what do we do tomorrow with the CRM. Exactly the discussion we had this morning. Then you have in the room, you have, of course, marketing, commercial, IT, compliance, customer engagement. Everybody is there, finance, etc. And everybody is explaining his point of view. And then comes to Joris, our CEO, to decide, okay, Joris, what do we do after Viva and Salesforce divorce? What is the decision to take now? And you know what our CEO, medical guy, would say? Maybe we can ask for a key opinion leader opinion. Or can we run a bibliography review before taking this decision? No, it doesn't work like this. Then today, you, unfortunately, my friend, you are not armed to manage this kind of decision and daily business decision, because you are not used to take
20
decisions
seconds.
based on not only facts, but also some gut feeling. And unfortunately, it's not part of your skills.
Well, thank you both contestants for making a strong argument. All right, now it's up to you. You will be the judge who you want to work for, Joris or Allah. So please, can we have the Slido back again? And I am very curious to see the results. Okay, nobody's voting. Okay, oh, Joris, you're winning right now. Oh, more. Back. I can't see how many have voted.
50. 51.
All right, so remember...
Come on, medical, come on.
Okay, remember that the winner of the Oxford debate is not the one who brings the truth, because the truth is quite irrelevant. It's also not the one with the most votes. It's the one who sways the votes, right? It's about the quality of arguing, which is a CEO quality. We were at 43 for medical, and medical has jumped to 52. So here's the winner. Thank you very much for your